Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fatima and I review books on this channel. I am back with another Wattpad book recommendations video. This is going to be the third part of this series and most probably this is going to be the last part of this series. If you guys still haven't watched the last two parts, then please go and watch them and let me know what you think about the books mentioned in those two parts. A few months ago, I opened Wattpad after many years, and once again, I managed to stumble upon a lot of hidden gems which truly deserve to be shared with all of you. As you already know from the last two parts, the books on my Wattpad list will have quality writing, good plots, unforgettable characters, and so much more. So let's officially begin. The first book on the list is named Drakon, written by Maham Fatemi, and her Wattpad username is Crestfallen Star. This story is a fantasy romance and the writing style is quite impressive. It's about a girl named Dayu who's summoned to the palace with a dozen other girls and she gets chosen to be the bride of a ruthless emperor, Melin. Now the best part of the story was a group called the Pekata, and this group worked under the emperor. This group comprised of different fantasy characters and it was very interesting to read about all of them. Give this book a try if it's still available on Wattpad and if you want to read a good quality fantasy romance story. This next book is such a soft one and I loved it so much. There's His Little Flame, written by KLL1990. There is no mention of the author's name, so I only know her Wattpad username. The male main character in this book, Kaelin Verix, is one of the best characters that I've read so far. I think at this point in my life, he's at the very top. I have to read this book to actually know what I'm talking about. So Lyra, the female male character, is a complete contrast to Kaelin. She's very reserved and most of the time in the book, because of her traumatic past, she's shown as someone who is very insecure. But the way their relationship has been described is beautiful and touching to read, and the writer has done an amazing job at writing this book. Please go and read this one, you won't regret it. Actually, you know what? Read this book first and then read the rest of the books on the list. The third book on the list is Uniformed Obsession, written by Pretty Liho, and that is her Wattpad username. This book is a dark romance, but it wasn't anything too dark, so I found it to be a light dark romance. The writing style is up to the mark and the writer did not hold back. It is a slow burn romance because it focuses more on the psychological development of obsession. MMC of this book, Elliot Mason, is shown as a military man who is a powerful individual, and the female main character is Grace Babayaro, a second grade teacher. Elliot's presence in the entire book was very captivating to read, and I really admired the way he was written, and the way he treated Grace was truly wonderful to read. If you want to read a light dark romance, then you must go and read this one. Okay, so we are on the last two books on the list. These two books are something astonishing for me to read, and what I mean by that is that I had never read something like this before, which are Indian romance books. I was quite reluctant to read them, and when I finally did, I was taken aback by how well they were written, and I would love for you guys to go and give them a try because they're totally worth it. So the first Indian romance book that I read was His Unwilling Bride, written by Akriti, and her Wattpad username is autumn_touched_. This book comes under the trope of marriage of convenience, and it's about a girl named Rabia, the female main character, who gets unwillingly tied in a marriage with Advait Singh Chauhan, the male main character. This man is a complete green flag. He was the sweetest person ever. He was very supportive and very understanding, and the way he used to Google everything was just adorable to read. It wasn't exactly a typical story, and this made me realize that there are some wonderful Indian books out there, and maybe in the future I would like to read some more of them. Having said that, the last book on the list is Captive by Obsession, another Indian romance written by Tanea, and her Wattpad username is Pixie Echo. This book is a dark romance. I felt like it was. I don't know if you guys will consider it one or not. I think you guys will. Reading this book, it made me wonder how it must feel to be loved so fiercely and unapologetically. If you want to feel anger, helplessness, emotionally drained but emotionally recharged, you should go and read this book. Different points in the book, I used to judge the male main character so hard because this man did a lot of questionable things that will astound you and you'll be like, whoa, what is happening? But that's the fun of it all, and that is what kept me on my toes the entire time. I feel like everybody should read this book once in their life. It is a whole different experience. I want to know your thoughts after reading this book so bad. Read it as soon as possible and come back and let me know how you genuinely felt. This book was larger than life, and I tell you how. It's because it's a very intense book with exaggerated scenes, emotions, and actions, and I guess that is why this book was nearly impossible for me to forget. Not just that, this book is a whole package. It has out-of-this-world romance, action, and plot twists. I felt like I was reading a South Indian-based movie rather than watching one. Hence why I said that it was larger than life. Devraj, the MMC of this book, was a very passionate and hot-blooded kind of man with crazy power. And then we have Indu, the female main character, who is quite the opposite as usual. Read it. I highly recommend it. That is all. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back with another book review video soon. Till then, goodbye.